This is a symbol of the presidency, and very soon will come to be known as a symbol of the junior presidency. Our search for 12 young, brilliant minds who we want to be crowning as junior presidents continues. Today we audition some of them as we look for the 12, nothing but the 12, to make sure that they enjoy all this that comes with the presidency. In just a few minutes our audition commences. The question is, will we find our presidents? Junior President continues just after this.
Get a life, get a gig with Zamtel's new permanent bundle. You heard right, your internet dreams have come true. For only 49 kwacha, you get 7 days of 1 gigabyte data. Internet heaven is now permanent and is here to stay 4G. 49 kwacha for 1 gigabyte all week to download, upload, connect, update, share, stream, broadcast, and just, well, internet. All day, every day for 7 days. So what are you waiting for? Get a life, get a gig today. Zamtel. Live life today.
So here is our next candidate. Welcome to the auditions.
Yes, thank you.
You look very nervous.
Not really.
You're not nervous?
No.
Okay, this is your second time doing this. Is there any part of you that feels you're not ready?
No, this time I'm very ready.
This time
I'll do
very
better
ready.
than the way I did last time.
You do better than the way you did last time.
Yes.
Wish you all the best. The judges are waiting for you. Please go through.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Joseph Richard?
Yes.
Mr. Richard Jerry. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, how are you?
Very well. You are welcome to this interview.
Yes, and I thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
Brilliant. Are you ready for us?
Yes.
Mr. Jerry, you have been following elections.
Yes.
And the recent elections were characterized by low voter turnout. In short, people didn't turn out in good numbers to ensure that our democracy is enhanced. Because the more people turn out to vote, it shows how confident people are about who they are putting in office. You know that the Electoral Commission of Zambia is an institution mandated to conduct elections under our constitution. How would you want this important institution to operate and work in ensuring that they sensitize the majority of our Zambians to appreciate the need to vote, their right to vote, to exercise their right to vote? What would you do to ensure that this institution does that work?
Okay, actually the problem is not with the Electoral Commission of Zambia. The problem is with the stakeholders, the same politicians who are in power. Because when it's time for campaigns, they campaign to say, no, when you vote for us into power, we'll give you jobs. But when they go into power, they don't give people their jobs. So in short, that causes people to lose interest in taking part in national matters. So if you have a good leader who actually does what he promises the people, actually even the people will be taking part in elections because they know that that leader is able to fulfill his promises.
So now, you have mentioned a very important issue where you say that broken promises are contributing to apathy during elections such as what we witnessed. You are a contender for this high office of the land. What justification do you have that people can trust that when you go there, you are going to uphold your word and do what you promised the people?
Actually, okay, I don't really have any justification, but actually you can trust me.
Why should people trust you that you are going to be different from those that say we shall do you this and they don't do that and they end up contributing to apathy from the people? How different are you? Because
I want to take Zambia to the next step. I don't want to be taking it to to let it go down. So if they vote for me, surely I will do that, because if I won't do it, that will mean that I'm also like the others, but I can assure you I'm different from the others. Yes.
Yeah, in you being different, you know, one thing that we're sure of is that young people are not interested in governance as president, and because the young people are the ones that are a lot, in the way that they would want to go and cast their vote, and in also making other people understand. So how are you going to make the young people interested in governance, Mr. President?
Actually, young people in governance, let's say.
Young people, what are you going to tell young people? That they must vote for you? Or young people that the jobs are a lot. It's not just being president, but there are all these other jobs that they can do. How are you going to interest them in governance issues?
Actually, because if we look at young people, we have to teach them to say that, okay, at least for young people have the manpower. Young people, even their brain cells, they're very strong and they're very active. So if we teach them to say that young people are able to think fast and are able to to capture with time, they'll be able to take part in elections. Yes.
So President, very quickly as a follow-up to that, youth unemployment is one of the major challenges that the country is facing. You want to be president.
Yes.
What solutions do you propose to address youth unemployment?
Okay, the problem we actually have here in Zambia is our dependence on copper. That's what is causing many people not to have many jobs, because we depend a lot on copper. But as for my government, we want to diversify the economy. We want to venture into other economic activities like agriculture. Let us look at the area of Zambia. The total area of Zambia is about 752,618 square kilometers, and the arable land is 353,729 square kilometers. Arable land, in simple terms, is actually the land that is able to be cultivated or ploughed. Just like I said, the arable land area is 353,729 square kilometers. But what's very shocking is to see that only 31% of this land is being used for agriculture. Meanwhile, people out there in shanty compounds are complaining to say there are no jobs. People out there in the streets, they're saying there's no money in the country, but we have the right resources. Because actually this shows that the half part of Zambia is actually fertile for agriculture. So we will encourage and promote many people to take part in agriculture, because that's actually part of employment.
What about gender? Is your agenda? How are you going to interpret the gender issue?
Gender issue. Actually, the other thing is that in schools, when we look at the cutoff point, for girls and boys, they're different. Actually, that shows that there's a difference. But meanwhile, we're equal. But as for me, if I were to be elected into power, we'll make everything equal for both men and women. That will actually teach people to say that we are equal. We're different but equal.
You have touched a very important aspect, because you're talking of starting to do with gender equality from the bottom. And you know that we have got our youths in the rural areas who traverse between their homes and schools long distances. What are you going to do to ensure that a girl child in those remotest areas is brought to equitable status with the boy child?
Actually, as for my government, we also want to develop the country. As for my government, we have a lot of sources of revenue for government, like collection of tax, collection of penalties, like court cases, those fees. Those are the fees that we are going to use to develop in rural areas. We're going to be building schools closer to the places of the people in the village, so that every child has an opportunity to get into school.
Well, it's been wonderful talking to you, Mr. Jerry. And all we can say to you is to encourage you to keep flying like a noble eagle in the sky. And we wish you all the best. But before we let you go, maybe what would be your final word to those people out there?
I would actually urge you to actually keep in this competition. You have seen that there are a lot of things which need to be changed in our country to make it a better place. And I promise that I'll stick to my principles.
Thank you so much for making it to this interview.
The audition is over for one other young gentleman. Here he comes with his information about Galande and things like that. How's the interview for you?
The interview was just okay.
It was just okay.
Yes.
Looks like you're prepared for it, with your quotations about the arable land and agriculture.
Yes.
You're very prepared.
Yes.
So what do you expect?
I'm expecting a positive feedback.
Positive feedback.
Yes.
Okay, the feedback awaits you. After this short wipe, we'll be talking to our next candidate. So our next candidate is just joining us. How are you, Mr. President?
Fine, and that was, sir.
Today you are away from the Hawaii t-shirt and now you look presidential.
Yeah,
So what do you expect from today's audition?
I expect to do great and make sure to tackle things that are.
Are you going to do
challenging.
better than you did last time or it's going to be the same?
I'm going to do better.
Better?
Yeah.
That's the way to go.
Okay.
Congratulations. All the best. The judges are waiting for you just right there.
Mr. Putangalande,
Yeah.
how are you, sir?
Fine, and how are you?
Very well. Mr. Galande, you are among the very few Zambians who are vying in the race, vying for the highest office of the land, the presidency. My question to you will be to hear your views and your comments. You are saying you are very ready. You know that the country is managed through what we call annual budgets.
Yeah.
Every year, government should prepare a budget on how it's going to manage appropriate resources across various sectors. And it also talks about how it's going to generate the revenue that should implement the budget. What will be the focus of your first budget as you get into government?
I think my focus will be critically on agriculture. Last time I was reading in the paper and then I read that in Livingstone, 95% of hotels are importing vegetables. That's not good. We can do better. So I think I would make sure that in terms of people, small-scale farmers, let them make a cooperative. That cooperative should have about 15 to 20 people. And then every week they should report what they have sold and how much they have made, what losses they have made, and how much they need. So that we should have a coordinator who will be going around every week to get some reports. And then when those reports come, they go to the district agriculture office, and then the district agriculture office is able to see that, no, we are progressing or we are not doing well. We can do better. And then in terms of education, I think we need to move away from, if you go this time in schools, you ask, it's just a child. If you ask him or her, what do you want to be? We say, no, I want to be a lawyer. Why? We need people, children, they need to know that I can make it if I become an engineer. I can make it if I become a contractor. That's what we want. I can make it if I become a businessman. Not always, no, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a doctor. I don't think so. So we need, in schools, maybe we make a garage where students could go there, those who want to be engineers. They go there and then we just have one teacher who has done auto mechanics. It teaches about 30 minutes. They do the cars and then members of the public will be able to bring those cars. Those students will be able to repair those cars. I think that's what we should do.
If I hear you, probably, Mr. President, you're talking about entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And entrepreneurship is a part of the citizens' empowerment.
Yeah.
So in making policy that actually making you go towards entrepreneurship, what countries are you going to benchmark which have got a successful empowerment policies for its citizens?
I think China. China, you know what? China, students who are doing this, who are making computers, phones, they're the one who make some of the phones that we use. Don't always look for experience. That's where we are behind. want experience, let us teach those people who don't have experience so that they can be able to do those things. Because if they are not doing it for the first time, where are they going to get that experience? So I think China is a good partner. I think we have good relations with China. We can tell them to bring people, or maybe German again. We say, oh, want people who come and have our workshop, teach our young people, teach our old people, not only teaching just young people, and our old people how to do things.
What about in Africa? Because we've got other countries who have got successful empowerment principles, which makes their own citizens to be entrepreneurs, and because they are protected. Do you have any other, in Africa, which countries you can benchmark in order for you to enhance your empowerment to the citizens?
I think one of them is Botswana, South Africa. Do you know that Botswana is the largest producer of beef in the world? And Botswana is just our neighbor here. Why can't we get those people to tell them, no, we want you to help us? Good diplomatic relations. We talk to them so that they show us how are they doing those things. That would be good. Then, so that's that.
Mr. President, thank you very much for the explanation you have given. Zambia is a member of SADC, Southern Africa Development Community. In fact, if you look at the history, you actually see that SADC was actually born here.
Yeah.
Yes, as a country. Under your government, how do Zambia contribute to regional development? What would be agenda for Zambia under your government in terms of regional cooperation, economic development, and relations generally?
I think on that it's agriculture, because I think in SADC we are the largest producer of maize. Why can't we export those maize and make them? And for sure we are a landlocked country. If we need to import things by sea, we need to use other countries which are offshore. So I think Zambia, yes, it's a landlocked country, and then we're in the commensal region. I think we can export maize and make it. We can stop depending on copper, because copper is depleting, mind you. So now, if we are able to have bumper harvests, yeah, we have bumper harvests, and then Zimbabwe, our friends, are struggling there. So we can be able to export those maize, and we can contribute to poverty alleviation in SADC region. Yeah, that's what I think we can do. We can help other countries which are struggling in poverty to move out of poverty through agriculture, because we are the only country in Comensa which we are good in producing agriculture, especially maize. We are doing well.
You made reference to Botswana when you talked about livestock. You referred to South Africa, and the question was put to you to say how you are going to make Zambia participate and deal with the other SADC countries. With that, how do you expect? What role do you think Zambia should play with all those factors that you mentioned? You said you can benefit if we learned from Botswana, for example.
Yeah.
And you are saying we can export food to the other countries. What would be your role as head of state for the Republic of Zambia, which is part of SADC, to make sure that Zambia takes a center stage?
I think my role would be to tell my Minister of Home Affairs to have good relations with this country. Go there, tell them we need this. Do you have this? If they say they have, tell them we want this. What do you want? They'll tell you we want this. Do we have it? We give it to them. That will be my role. I'll make sure that I communicate with each of the presidents in Comensa so that we know what do they want, what are they lacking that we have. That would be my role.
Mr. President, It's been wonderful talking to you.
Thank
But
you.
before we let you go, how do you understand the motto One Zambia, One Nation?
The motto One Zambia, One Nation. The motto One Zambia, One Nation, it's a unifying factor. And I'm always surprised that this time tribalism is looming in Zambia. No, Tongas can't do this. No, Tongas can't do this. That's very bad. Because today, if you ask me, what tribe are you? I will tell you, I don't have a tribe, I'm a Zambian. Why will I say that? Because for people to vote for me, they would want to know where I'm from. So I think politicians should not say, no, my tribe is what. People vote for you, no, because it's just a Tonga or because it's just a Bimba. Let us vote for him. That's too wrong. So politicians of nowadays, they should not, as politicians, we should not concentrate on what to say. No, because no. The first thing, if people ask you, who are you? They will say, no, I'm Tonga, I come from what. Let us move tribe from that. If a person asks you, who are you? Just say, I'm a Zambian, I don't have a tribe. And
Brilliant.
mind you, I am a very fluent speaker of about 5 Zambian languages.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Your final message to the Zambian people?
To Zambian people, my final message, I will say, let us stop tribalism. What happened in Rwanda was, that caused that war in Rwanda was tribalism. Let's stop tribalism. Tongas are not good than Bembas. Bembas are not good than Easterners. We are all equal because we are all Zambians. Our grandfather fought for this independence not because they were tribal, no. They fought together. Let us fight poverty away from this country without using tribal means. No is a Tonga, no is a Bemba. Let's move that.
Mr. President, very good submission indeed in your conclusion. And all we can say is all the very best.
Thank you.
Okay, so the audition comes to an end for one energetic young man. So much information is brought out. Hey, man, you speak 5 Zambian languages?
Yeah.
Which ones are those?
Tonga,
Yes.
Lenje, Chewa, Ngoni, and Bemba.
Okay. You came out very different from the first time. What really changed this time? Because this time you're more on point and very factual. How do you know these things?
All these things through listening to the news, and every time I think I'm just a natural politician.
Congratulations.
That's what I think.
And all the best, eh? Come through, and it's a she. Christine, how are you doing?
I'm fine, how are you?
I'm fine. This is not NBC anymore, bigger audition. How is it feeling? You nervous?
Okay, somehow nervous, somehow I'm just okay and ready for anything.
Ready for anything. There's
Yes.
something waiting for you in the audition room. All the best, eh? As you go through.
You're welcome, madam.
Thank you.
You, Madam Christine Mwanga.
Yes.
Madam Christine Mwanga, please feel comfortable or relax as you interact with us. And in welcoming you to this interview, I would like to just acknowledge the fact that we've got so many of you female contenders in the race to presidency. How does that make you feel?
It just makes me feel proud, and I just feel that this will take me to another level.
Brilliant. Obviously, you will be a source of encouragement to other women
Yes.
in the country.
However, like when I'm doing this, even to those who are shy, who are not free to come out, after seeing this, they're also going to have that courage and say that I'm going to do it as well. Then they'll also come here.
So, when the Zambian people give you an opportunity to serve them as their president, probably the first female president, how do you intend to empower your fellow women?
I would empower them like by giving them jobs, not just giving even those who are not educated, by giving those who are educated and those who are qualified for that. And then there are others who've just got like business minds, but they don't have those opportunities, like they don't have the money to start up their businesses. So through some organizations and associations with other people and other groups, we can empower the women. For those with business minds, some can even become tailors and etc. Anything that they feel like to do.
What about the marketeers, the
Marketeers.
street vendors, and the rural women as well?
All right. Like for the marketeers, like to better the markets, and also for the rural women, most of them are just housewives. So to educate just to educate the majority of them, as I said, some can be tailors because that's what they do domestically. Some can be tailors. Then the other rural women who can be tailors, they can be marketeers, since some farm. So they can be farming, then they take their goods to the market, they sell them.
We can be able to ask you, because what you're talking about is a gender story. So gender, Madam President, is your agenda. How do you understand gender? And how are you going to make it happen?
Okay, for me, in my own understandings, gender, this is something that a male and a female can do. So if a male can be president, which means even a female can be president. So like me here, I'm not the only female, the other females, which means we're also exercising our gender.
How are you going to make it happen? Like 50-50?
No, there are limits, but I'll just have to work hard, ensure what I can do, and even show my qualities.
In your estimation, what is Zambia's biggest challenge, and how, as a president in that high office, how would you deal with that challenge that you see as president? You want to be president.
Yes.
What is motivating you when you go there to solve what is it that you see as Zambia's biggest challenge?
That's why I'm trying to think hard. Okay, let me first start on the part of education. Like if I were to become president, I would make sure that civic education is a compulsory subject, because there we learn a lot of things. We also learn the threats to democracy. So when every child in school is taking civic education, that would be a better thing, because as we know, education, it is one of the factors to development. So if the majority of the youths who bring new ideas of government, of development, are educated, then it is going to be a better Zambia. So if I become president, then I'm sure that most of the youths will be educated. And then it is going to be a better Zambia. Yes.
Thank you very much. And it's been wonderful talking to you. But before we let you go, what do you understand about the motto, One Zambia, One Nation?
One Zambia, One Nation, what I understand about that we should unite. It's about unity. We should unite and agree on one thing, not whereby the other is saying this and the other is saying that. There can never be unity, but if we unite and agree on one thing, that's what One Zambia, One Nation means to me.
What will be your final message to the people out there, your fellow women and men, children, boys and girls? What will be your message? My final message.
My final message to them is just to ask them to keep me in this competition, and everyone who wants to come here, they should just be free to come and express themselves. And also to have a mind of a president, not just coming here for the sake of coming here, but you should imagine yourself as a president and what you can do when you're in that office.
It's been a pleasure talking to you, and please keep the fire burning. We wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
Christine, you still look nervous to me. How is it? Just talk closer.
It was just okay. It was even more simple than the previous one.
Really?
This one was, yes. For me, I feel it was simple because the previous one, it was my first time and I was shaking even though I was talking to the judges.
Oh, all the best then.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Madam President. So here comes our next presidential candidate, Perry Kent Nkole. Perry Kent, welcome.
I'm fine, sir. Thank you very much.
What do you look forward to today compared to the previous audition?
I'm looking forward to tougher questions.
Questions.
I'm sure I've researched and I have all the information. I will do my best.
All the information?
Yes.
All the best then. The judges are waiting for you. Please go through.
Mr. Perry Kent Nkole.
Yes, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm okay.
Yeah, most welcome to this interview.
Thank you, sir.
We would like you to relax, feel comfortable, and just open up your mind as you interact with us. Mr. Periken Tinkole, you are one among the few Zambians that are contesting for presidency. How ready are you?
I'm very ready, actually. As a young boy, I have achieved a lot of things, and I've been exposed to the world, and I've worked with organizations such as the United Nations as a child ambassador. I've worked with non-governmental organizations, and I'm a junior reporter. And I think that a journalist can make a very good president, because a journalist always has information, and like authentic information. And one of the things that you learn in journalism school, I've not been to the university, but I've been trained with media skills, is that you put yourself in the shoes of the public. You're speaking on behalf of thousands of people and many people. So you're like the voice of the people. And I feel I'm ready for this competition. I've seen a couple of good competitors, and are going to give me a good race, so to say.
So what would you say has motivated you to join the race for presidency?
Oh, there are lots of things in Zambia that need to be addressed that are not being addressed. According to statistics, Zambia is one of the countries that is recording highest levels of poverty. Like 60% of the country, above 60% of the country is living under poverty. Zambia has an approximate population of 13 million, and above 50% of the population are below the age of 18. So we are lacking in so many ways, and I believe that as a young person and as a child, seeing these issues really motivate me. And I grew up in the compounds where issues of gender-based violence, child pregnancy, child marriage are always there, and issues like defilement. So I feel these issues have to be addressed, and that is why I'm here. I'm here to talk about the future of Zambia, and I'm indeed here to bring new ideas through innovation.
With that in mind, how do you hope to improve the education sector, which is one of the foundations of people's careers? How do you intend to then deal with the education system?
The education system of Zambia is very interesting, and there's a lot to learn from it. Zambia is a signatory to the Cairo Protocol, which states that every signatory should allocate above 20% of its total budget to the education sector. Now, according to the 2014 national budget and the 2015 national budget, the allocation in terms of the education sector has remained at 20.2%. Now, we've noticed that it is above the recommended threshold, but then there's no improvement in the education sector. We still have many children in rural areas not receiving quality education. So there is need to allocate more funds in the education sector to make sure that each and every child has access to good quality education.
Talking about good quality education, and you want to empower your people economically, what are some of the policies that you can put in place so that empowerment is a reality? And also, in wanting to be empowerment as a reality, also talk about gender. How are you going to make sure that you understand the gender policy, and also how it affects its citizens, or the men and the women and the children differently?
Before I get to gender, I can talk about empowerment.
Yes.
If you go to Soweto Market, for example, you find that over like 75% of the traders there are women. That tells us something as a country. It tells us that the women of Zambia have a passion for entrepreneurship. What more when you give them entrepreneurship skills? So we can gain a lot as a country in terms of economic-wise. If we empower our women with loans, for example, and entrepreneurship skills, that will empower them and make them contribute positively to the economy of the country. On the gender part, recently we've seen a female vice president for the first time in Zambia. Correct me if I'm wrong, Zambia is currently the only country in Southern Africa with a female vice president, for example. That tells us something. Zambia is doing its best. One of the Millennium Development Goals is about gender equality. And I don't see men being better than men, better than women. I think that if women given an opportunity and empower them with skills and in terms of resources, I think a woman can contribute mammothly to the economy of a country.
Yes, Mr. President, mining remains one of the foremost source of Zambia's bread and butter. What is your policy on mining, especially in view of the current investments and sometimes the complaints from the investors that the tax levels are not affordable? When you come into office, how do you ensure this industry continues to be viable and contribute to the development of this country?
Well, I can tell you one thing. The Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and the Constitution addresses a lot of things, and it's a source from which policies are driven from. So when it comes to mining, one thing, first of all, we need to realize that it shouldn't be our only source of finance as a country, as Zambia. I think that, first of all, we need to stiffen the policies and the laws to make sure that when the investors come and they're owning our mines and they're running the mines on behalf of the Zambian people, they are complementing what Zambia has to have, that Zambia has. And they have to respect the fact that we have laws in place, and they need to respect the labor laws, for example, the rights of the people that they employ. So there is great importance to reverse some policies that have been put in place in terms of mining. I believe that when I come in through innovation, really, as a president, I will make sure that new policies are introduced in the mining sector.
To just give you very short time, what will be your last message to the voters out there?
Well, as a person in this competition, I'm enjoying myself here, and I know there's stiff competition, but I believe everyone is unique in their own way. Some people would love you the way you speak, some people would love you for your information, but I urge the Zambian people to vote for me because I believe I have the presidential qualities, so to say. I'm not bragging, but I know inside me, everyone is motivated by what they feel inside, and I believe that through innovation, we can secure a safe environment for the development of the next generation. Thank you.
Mr. Nkole, it's been wonderful talking to you. And from us, we wish you all the very best.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Perikant, how are you feeling? How was the audition for you?
It was good. It was okay. The questions were different from the last ones, but I was able to cope and comprehend.
Have you come out more united or more defeated?
Not more defeated. I'm ever forward. I mean, according to me, I'm the best in this competition, and
best in the competition.
It's up to the Zambian people to decide. But I know I've done my best, and my best is all I can offer. And if my best is good enough to impress the judges, well and good. It's like getting two birds with one stone, you know.
All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is Junior President on TV1 of the Zambia National Broadcasting Corporation. Let's take a short break, and after that, the program does continue.
This is the perfect time. Been dying to hear from you. I hope that this moment lasts, 'cause it feels so true. Maybe I'm out of my mind, but I know that your love is hard to find.
When we love someone, we become selfless, devoted, and we accept the one we love wholeheartedly. But the question we often ask ourselves is, how far would you go for the one you love? How far would you go to connect their heart to yours every day?
Glad that I'm here with you.
Zamtel. Live life today.
Congratulations for making it through to the next round.
Thanks.
How are you feeling about today's audition?
I just feel calm.
Very calm.
Very calm.
How is the outcome going to affect you?
The outcome won't affect me that much because I'm prepared for both sides.
Both sides.
Very
One
much.
side is waiting, the judges are right there. All the best.
Thanks.
Okay, so she walks into the audition hoping for the best, but expecting the other side. Let's find out.
Madam Esther Mwansamlenga, how are you?
Very much fine. And how are you?
We are very much fine. It's a pleasure to have you for this interview.
The pleasure is all mine.
Please feel comfortable, relax yourself. And we have seen a number of you ladies in the contest. How does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel really happy, and it makes me feel at ease that women have been given equal chances as men.
Brilliant. But what makes you think you are the best that the people of Zambia should have as the first ever female president of the Republic of Zambia?
I am the best, no doubt about that. I just have different qualities from the other contestants. I think my qualities are perfect.
Indeed. You know that education forms the cornerstone
Yeah.
of the Zambia's progression economically and indeed in other sectors. What do you intend to do if Zambian people give you a chance to become their president? What do you intend to do in order to improve the education sector?
Well, if I was given the opportunity, which I know will be given, once put into power, I would really like to reform the learning curriculum. It's just not fair for one child to take as many subjects as 10. Once you reach grade 10 high school, you know what you want to do in life. So I think it's better for a child to focus on the subjects that she wants to do. Like for instance, if I want to do journalism, it's best if I focus on English and other current affairs programs. So if I'm put into power, the curriculum will be changed.
Wow, that's great. Anyway, and so what are you going to do about the gender? Because gender is your agenda. And what do you understand by gender equality?
What I understand about gender equality is really making the male folks same to us. Because we also have the power to do what men can do. And I'll just preach to the men to learn to respect us. Once a man respects us, gender equality is really possible.
And linked to that, young children or young people are not involved in governance. How are you going to make sure that the young people are involved in governance?
Wow, somehow tough, but I'll give you an answer anyway. Mainly, I'll go in high schools and preach that we the youth can also take part in politics. Yeah, it's true, politics is not really popular among us. In many we lack interest, but once if you're taught politics is not that, we think politics is tough, but it's not tough, it's the environment that we live in, that's politics. So I'll preach to the youth that politics we can as well do.
Yes, Madam Esther, Madam President, youth unemployment is one of the challenges that the country faces. When you are president, how do you address the issue of youth unemployment?
Mainly the issue of youth and employment, yeah, it's really a challenge. I would first cut on the retirement age. Most positions are held by the older folks, so if the retirement age is reduced, we'll be giving the youth ample opportunity. And I would also like to invest in ideas. Once the youth are like given maybe businesses and stuff, business ideas will really cut out on the employment issue. It will go down because not everyone will be depending on the government. Everyone will have something to look forward to.
So how would you reduce the retirement age from where to where?
From 65, I think 50 is not a bad idea.
50 years.
Yes.
Madam President, we are enjoying talking to you. If I may ask you, what challenges do you know are being faced by the women in the rural areas? And in addition, if you can just also give us what you understand are the challenges facing a girl child in the rural areas.
The challenges facing a girl child in the rural areas is that they lack information. Information doesn't get to them. Like the issue that has come up of cervical cancer, you ask most women in the rural areas, they don't have information. They'll tell you they don't know anything about that. So I think information should not only reach urban areas, it should as well reach rural areas.
Madam President,
women are facing a lot of challenges, even in the health sector. They are really far off from the hospitals, and we have cases of women who just deliver at home, which is really bad.
Yes, in adding to what the other panelists have said, is there is this perception in Zambia that foreigners are more entertained than the locals. What policies are you going to put in place so that Zambians start to feel that this is their country and they're able to actually be engaged in entrepreneurship?
I will enforce the policy. Really, these foreigners, as much as they have the money, it doesn't stay in here. They'll make the money and it will go back to their country. They don't spend it in here. So I'll enforce a policy. Whoever makes Zambian kwacha, each ngwe should stay in here. You have to spend it in here. No way you're going back with it to your country.
Brilliant. Before we let you go, we would want to hear your comment about the motto One Zambia, One Nation. What do you understand about the motto? And finally, would you also maintain this country as a Christian nation?
Most definitely. It will remain as a Christian nation. One Zambia, One Nation is bridging the peace. We've got 72 tribes, and us saying One Zambia, One Nation means each tribe is equal to the other.
Madam President, it has been wonderful talking to you. and we can only wish you all the very best.
Thank you, same here.
Okay, so our young lady president is just leaving the audition room. She's gone through the audition and she looks rather tired. Please join me, don't feel shy. She looks rather tired. You look exhausted already.
Not really.
Not really?
Not really exhausted.
So how do you feel?
Just a little bit nervous.
Nervous after the audition?
Yeah.
Why?
The lights and the cameras and everything.
Lights, camera, action, getting the better of you. But what do you expect?
I expect the very best. I've given them what I had anyway. I expect the level
All the best. It's up to them now.
Yeah, it's up to them whether to give me the place or not.
This is Junior President.